Here's a shot in game one. What would you do here? You're shooting the 2 ball in the bottom right hand corner. Here's the 4 ball, here's the 6 ball, and here's the 7 ball. Would you draw it back to the left hand side rail with a little bit of left hand English to get the right angle on the 4 ball? Would you just put a little bit of top on it to bounce off the right hand side rail and get right on the 4 ball? Or would you just pull it back a couple inches and shoot the 4 ball in the top right hand corner? And you might want to write down your answers. This is not a test. Nobody's wrong here. I just want to determine what kind of player you are and what kind of player I am. Alright, this is the second game right after the break. The 1 ball's here, the 2 ball's here, 3 balls here, and the 4 ball's back here. And the 4 ball and the 2 ball's tied up. So you're going to have to make a move right now, right out of the gate. So do you A, shoot the one in the side and go 2 rounds and try to break it out right after the first shot? Do you play a safety by banking the 1 into the rail and breaking out the cluster and trying to stick the cue ball behind that wall of balls there? Or C, do you make the 1 ball in the side, shorten up the angle, go 2 rails, and then play a safety on the 2 to stick the cue ball right behind the 4 ball for an absolutely brilliant safety, maybe, if you do it right. And actually, concerning this shot, if we got there on the 2 ball, you could actually bank it for a two-way shot and have a shot on the 3 if you make it, and you might be able to get safe if you miss. I don't know, it's really close and that 9 ball's getting in the game. But we'll call that option D. In game 3, there's a total fluke that happens when I'm shooting a 5 ball. And anyway, I wind up here on the wrong side of the 8 ball, and you can see both of the balls are left. So do we try to spin the dickens out of it and go 3 rails? I'm going to warn you, this is not a natural angle. You're going to have to draw it off the 8 ball and really spin it with bottom right to get back down table on that 9 ball. Or B, bank the 8 ball to the center of the bottom rail while drifting the cue ball back up to the top rail. That's pretty mean, guys. But hey, it's gonna work. Or C, you could just go ahead and make the 8 ball and just drift up and take the hard shot on the 9 ball. There's your 3 options. And yeah, what I did will be revealed in game number 3, but what I do is not necessarily the right way for you. It all just comes down to what kind of player you are and what's best for you. If you chose option A, you're a super aggressive player, and a lot can go wrong on this shot, so you better have your timing down. If you went with option B, you're a little bit aggressive, but it's on the level of above average and confident. If you chose option C, you lean toward the conservative side and you believe in the rule of not moving the cue ball more than you have to. And as you saw, I went with option B, but that shouldn't be nothing new to my old-time subscribers. I'm a little bit aggressive, a little bit confident, and I think that's the right balance. Let's move on to game number 2. If you chose option A, you're super aggressive and you better hope to get a shot on that 2-ball and not just hit the 4-ball full to bounce the 2-ball somewhere near the side pocket. Shot B is pretty conservative. I wouldn't say super conservative, but it's pretty conservative, and you're going to have a problem sticking the cue ball. And you also have an issue with the possible scratch there, so you've got a lot going on here, and you better be careful. Option C focuses on the 2-ball and playing an easy safety on the 2, but getting that position on the 2 is not easy, and you're going to have to shoot this with inside English. Now, we did talk briefly about an option D, and that 2 focuses, it's the same shot as what you see above, and it focuses on the 2-ball, but playing a two-way shot and bank in the 2-ball, and if you miss the 2-ball, you should be safe, and if you make the 2-ball, you should be good to go on the 3-ball. But all of that is a mouthful, and first you have to shoot the 1-ball, and you have to get right on the 2-ball in order to shoot this bank. And playing that 2-way shot is not easy. You're gonna have to get behind the 4 while still having a shot on the 3. And if you do that, it's time for me to just settle up, pull up, and say, hey, you should be out there making Feder Gorse cry. Right, all that said, I chose option A, and here we see it. Again, that's not saying that's the right option. The right option is whatever is right for you and your style of play. Let's get on to game 3. If you chose option A, you're choosing to do a lot more work than you might think. This is not natural. You have to draw off the 8-ball to widen that first angle. And all the while you have to keep that cue ball spinning and moving quickly in order to have the inertia to get back down table. I don't know about it. I would advise not doing this. But hey, what do I know? Maybe you're super aggressive and you're a pro. I don't know. I like option B. I mean, if you're going to be conservative, do it right. God, that would be a great leave. If you can do it. Now, it's going to be a little bit touchy, but if that's your game, go for it. Option C is aggressive without being over the top aggressive. Now, a lot of top shelf players would choose this, but they wouldn't get on the rail like I did on the 9-ball. So, I mean, if that's the natural angle that you're playing, bounce off the rail a little bit and give yourself a fair chance.